Yep, looks like we are about to enter in. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin the first match of Thin Ice versus Team PumkinSnatch. And they are off. Alright, it looks like Team PumkinSnatch currently in possession of the Quaffle. 21st Q, holding on to it, looking for an opening, trying to get downfield. Oof. But Thin Ice recovers the Quaffle, passing it on down to Dake Bluebee. Dake Bluebee in possession. Takes the shot, 10 points on the board for Thin Ice. At 6 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, there's still plenty of time for Team PumkinSnatch to return the favor. 21st Q in possession of the Quaffle. Passes it back to passes it back to the captain, PumkinSnatch. PumkinSnatch passes it on out. 21st Q back in possession of the Quaffle. Snitch at about half and half. Groovy goes for a defensive line. The shot misses, passes it back out to Groovy. Groovy passes it over to Dake Bluebee. Dake Bluebee carrying it downfield, streaking past the defensive players. Currently looks like looking for an opening within Team PumkinSnatch's line. Takes the shot. Beautiful. 20 points on the board for Thin Ice, and the Snitch is at its last leg. We're going to switch on over to Alpha Tux to take a look at this Snitch game here. Presently, Tux is in the lead. The one bump could change it all. If Tux manages to capture this Snitch, that'll put 20 points on the board and make sure that this game brings to a tie. Tux closing in on Snitch, whips around. Meanwhile, the Chaser gameplay has swapped on over to a defensive line for the Seekers. Tux getting close, goes for a bump. Looks like they're open, but is over by enemy goals. A bump here could change it. Tux captures the Snitch. 20 points on the board. At 4 minutes, 59 seconds left on the clock, this is a tied game between Thin Ice and Team PumkinSnatch. What a match. Swapping back on over to Groovy. Groovy gets tackled. 21st Q in possession of the Quaffle. Looks for an opening, but Shintasu manages to regain possession. Thin Ice looking on over. Groovy with a one-timer pass on over to Dake Bluebee. Dake Bluebee looking for an opening. Dake Bluebee still looking for that opening. Nope. Now 21st Q in possession of the Quaffle. 21st Q passing it on back to home goal. Looks like Pumpkin is grabbing the Quaffle, sending it back out. Oh, but Groovy kicks it back. However, Pumpkin is quick to respond, passing it back on out. Neo in possession, but Groovy tackles. Passes it back on over to Dake Bluebee. Looks like Bluebee is taking it downfield whilst Groovy works on a defensive line. Takes the shot. 30 points. Thin Ice currently in the lead with just shy of 4 minutes left on the clock. Meanwhile, Seekers seem to be at approximately just under 2 fits, encroaching on half of that Snitch meter. 21st Q back in possession of the Quaffle, moving it down on field. What a beautiful snowy day for a shot. 21st Q puts it in. 10 points on the board, creating a 30-30 tied game. Thin Ice and Team PumkinSnatch have shown incredible prowess throughout their entire career and have now brought it in their A game to these Newts finals. Thin Ice in possession of the Quaffle. Never mind. Team PumkinSnatch now in possession of the Quaffle. Groovy, working on defensive line, goes around 21st Q. 21st Q takes a shot, but Yukio, a fantastic all-around player, manages to save that shot and sends it home. Groovy back in possession of the Quaffle. Meanwhile, the Snitch is getting closer and closer. Looks like they are currently holding on to that Quaffle to prevent any kind of kick from the keeper. Groovy now moving on towards defensive line on top of the Seeker, trying to hit Tux. They pass it on back to their defensive goals. Tux is closing in on the Snitch here. However, it looks as if Denji has actually taken a lead on this Snitch meter. One bump can change this. Denji gets the bump. Continuing on forward. Tux looking for an opening, trying to get a bump in there. Gets the bump, swings around goal, and captures the Snitch. That is 50 now. 50 for Team PumkinSnatch, 30 for Thin Ice. This is a neck-and-neck game. One more Snitch capture can bring this tie. If Thin Ice wants to stay in this, they are going to need to get one Snitch capture and one goal. This is fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. This is Quidditch. Looks like both teams are hesitant to move the Quaffle on downfield. Team PumkinSnatch wanting to maintain that lead, holding on to the Quaffle before sending it on out to try and get those keeper kicks. Meanwhile, Groovy Games with a fantastic one-timer manages to pass it on over to Shintasu. Shintasu is looking for an opening as they go towards enemy goals. Takes the shot, never mind, passes it to Dake Blueby and takes the shot. Beautiful goal, recovering that lead at 40-50. We are currently seeing the last minute and a half of this match. Seekers are just encroaching on the 50-50 percentile. Dake Blueby passing it on down to Shintasu. Dake Blueby takes the shot, getting past PumkinSnatch and sending the goal in. 50-50 tie game, 1 minute left on the clock. It's all going to come down to whether or not these Seekers can capture the snitch. We've currently seen Tux capture both snitches in this game. Will Denji respond, or will Tux continue here? Meanwhile, the Chaser gameplay is going to need to focus hard on getting this goal in. Team PumkinSnatch forfeits possession of the Quaffle to return over to the snitch gameplay. It looks like we've completely abandoned Chaser game completely, moving the Quaffle on out. Tux currently in the lead on the snitch, moving as fast as possible, weaving in and out of the enemy chasers. The keeper dodges a speeding bludger, looking for a bump. Almost there, needs to capture this, captures the snitch. That is 20 additional points put on the board. 15 seconds left in this match. It is going to be difficult for Thin Ice to respond. It looks like Team PumkinSnatch is going to have won this one. Absolutely amazing. Well done, Team PumkinSnatch. That is a first game having conceded itself on over to TPK. Well done. Well done. I am astonished. Absolutely beautiful. Currently seeing if the ping is going to hold. Looks like ping is going to be just fine. And we now have the perspective of Flyrish and Tux this time around. So we're in for some fun beater gameplay. And they are off. Ladies and gentlemen, the first match has started, and it looks as if Thin Ice is in possession and puts it in within the first 10 seconds. Groovy with a fantastic goal there. Beautiful shot. 10 points on the board. Thin Ice in the lead, taking that early lead as they are known to. However, if they wish to maintain their status on the winning bracket, they are going to have to maintain this forward. PumkinSnatch holding on to the Quaffle, waiting for a good opening. Sends it on out. Marsonley currently in possession of the Quaffle. Passes it on over to 21st Q. 21st Q puts it in. 10 points on the board for Team PumkinSnatch. Tied game. As I said, they are not going to simply let Thin Ice get this win. Thin Ice is going to need to keep fighting, and it looks as if Flyrish is looking for every opening to batter the Seeker, but almost at the cost of the Chaser gameplay. Meanwhile, 21st Q back in possession of the Quaffle, looking for a means to get into the enemy goal. Weaving around the pitch, actually holding on to it. Looks as if they're being more discerning about sending the Quaffle into the goal at this time, waiting for their Seekers to round out before entering in. Very decisive, very clever. Meanwhile, Flyrish coming in, taking a bludger away from what would have certainly hit Denji. And it looks like the Seeker race is closing in. Denji still in the lead on this snitch, but Tux looking for that means to close the gap. We'll swap on over to the Seeker position, with Tux currently weaving around their home goal. But still, Denji is in the lead there, and it looks like Flyrish is keeping up that strike. Oh, strikes Tux, knocking that meter back, and it looks as if that Seeker pressure we were discussing earlier is being applied here. Good playing Flyrish, but Tux still has the capabilities to overcome this. We have seen Tux overcome even the worst odds in the past and takes that swing out there, captures the snitch. As I said, Tux has what it takes to get that done. 20 points added to the board for Team PumkinSnatch. That is 4 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Team PumkinSnatch currently in the lead. What a match. What a match. PumkinSnatch in possession of the Quaffle, sends it on out. Marsonley currently in possession of the Quaffle, loses possession, passes it back to PumkinSnatch, passes it on over to Neo. Neo streaking downfield, passes it over to 21st Q. As it is, they're holding onto the Quaffle again to make sure that their Seeker has a chance to get out of enemy territory. Now moving on in. Sends it home. 40-10. Team PumkinSnatch in the lead, just shy of 4 minutes left. Currently, Groovy in possession of the Quaffle. Thin Ice looking to respond to these goals sent in on their side. Pass it on over to Dake Blueby. Blueby takes the shot, 20-40. Team PumkinSnatch still in the lead, but now Thin Ice is covering that gap. Only 20 points. That is 1 snitch catch or 2 chaser goals in order to cover that gap. Dake Blueby puts it in once more, 30-40. Again, shrinking Team PumkinSnatch's lead. Looks like they are forcing it downfield. They are keeping it on the enemy side, and Flyrish is doing their best to keep this strong. Looks like another shot. Dake Blueby, an absolute menace on the pitch, scores 3 goals there. That is 40-40 tied game, 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock. The snitch is only at 50%. 21st Q in possession of the Quaffle. Flyers dodging a speeding bludger. PumkinSnatch in possession. Sending it on out. Marsonley in possession of the Quaffle. Holding on to it. Sending it back, sending it forward. 21st Q back in possession. Tosses it away. Looks like they're now focusing on the Seeker game. Seeker pressure is high. PumkinSnatch back in possession of the Quaffle again. It seems to just be going back and forth between these two players. We shall see. 21st Q, again in possession of the Quaffle, sends it on out, swapping on over to Tux's view so that we can see this. Tux currently with a small lead on the snitch race. Ooh. Looks like Flyrish is taking some hits, but giving them right back. Will Flyrish be able to interfere with Tux's stellar flying? Denji currently looking for an opening, looking for a bump, but is on enemy side. Flyrish goes down, and Tux captures the snitch. That is 40-60, Team PumkinSnatch in the lead, 1 minute, 42 seconds left. There is plenty of time to score 2 chaser goals, but entering into overtime, will they have enough to take this? Flyrish maintaining pressure on top of the Seeker here. Looking as if they're looking for that late overtime win here. Flyrish trusting in their chaser game, and for good reason. Dake Blueby is proving to be a powerhouse behind the Quaffle game, putting another point on the board for Thin Ice. That is 50-60. We have just a minute left in this game. PumkinSnatch sending it out to 21st Q. Looks like they're going to be holding onto the Quaffle as much as they possibly can here, but Shintasu gains possession of the Quaffle, moving it downfield, looking for an opening. Passes it to Dake Blueby. Dake Blueby looking for a shot. PumkinSnatch stunned. Blueby looking for an opening. 38 seconds left on the clock. Blueby's flying around, waiting it out. Looks for a shot. Sends it. This is a tied game. We are moving into 30 seconds left on the clock. There is just 75% on the Seeker game. It looks like Denji is currently in the lead. 20 seconds left on the clock. 60-60. This is tied. We may be looking at overtime, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be a tough match, but the Seeker game is getting close. 10 seconds left. Oh! Dake Blueby looking for a shot. Denji captures the snitch. 80-60, 3 seconds left on the clock. There is no way Team PumkinSnatch will be able to respond to this. That is a win for Thin Ice. I am out of breath, ladies and gentlemen. But what a match. Oh my goodness. It's all on the line. Whoever wins this will move on into the winning bracket, but whoever loses is going to find themselves relegated to the losing bracket and one step closer to a complete match loss, or to a complete Newts loss. Thin Ice currently in possession of the Quaffle. Passes it on over to Dake Blueby. Dake Blueby proving to be the scorer of this match, but PumkinSnatch with a beautiful save manages to keep that goal out. Maintaining the pressure on top of this. Looks like Flyrish is looking for some hits on the Seeker in the early game, trusting in their chaser core to get those goals in, and for good reason. We saw in that last match that Dake Blueby managed to put the Quaffle in the goal multiple times over. Shintasu also keeping up some beautiful defensive line play. Oh! Macoon knocks Flyrish out, but Dake Blueby still scores. What a shot. What a knockout. Macoon responding with the brilliant Bludger game, showcasing that even beaters are not immune to the heavy iron of the Bludger. Team PumkinSnatch in possession of the Quaffle. Looks like a loose Quaffle now, sending it on out with nowhere to go. Keeping that Quaffle away. In possession, 21st Q takes the shot. 10 points on the board. Team PumkinSnatch versus Thin Ice. They are a tied game with 5 minutes and 25 seconds left on the clock. The Seekers are getting close, so let's swap on over there to Tux. Taking a look at this Seeker game. Tux currently in the lead. 5 minutes left on the clock. Tux takes a hit from that keeper kick, bringing Denji squeaking in closer. In fact, Denji taking a marginal lead. No, Tux is back in the lead, but it looks like there's pressure being applied here. Tux, oh, just dodges. Dake Blueby puts a point on the board for Thin Ice. That's 20-10, and Tux responds with a beautiful capture there. That is 30-20 by way of Team PumkinSnatch in the league, and I am getting some waters, ladies and gentlemen. Please excuse me for a drink. Groovy in possession of the Quaffle, passes it on over to Dake Blueby. Dake Blueby looking for the shot, takes it, and 30-30 tied game once again. This is a back and forth match. No team is willing to concede to the other. Meanwhile, over on Snitch Game, they are just encroaching on approximately, I'd say about 10-15%. PumkinSnatch in possession of the Quaffle, holding on to it whilst their Seekers round about the hoop, sends it on out. Denji managing to avoid any kind of hit there, but Flyrish takes a clonk. And it looks like Macoon is looking to take Flyrish out. For good reason, Flyrish has been an absolute menace to their Seeking gameplay. Looks like we're getting a bloody hell from PumkinSnatch. Maybe an issue there. Dake Blueby. Dake Blueby puts it in. 40-30. What a shot. What a shot. 3 minutes, 40 seconds left on the clock. And Thin Ice is currently in the lead by a marginal hair. The Seeker game is coming closer and closer, ladies and gentlemen. Tux is currently just shy of half health, taking some hits here and there. 21st Q in possession of the Quaffle, looks to go downfield, takes the shot, manages to get it in. We are back at a tied game. 3 minutes, 10 seconds left on the clock. It's all going to come down to the Seekers here as the Chasers are matched. Tux getting a beautiful hit there on Denji. Flyrish dodges a speeding Bludger, weaving around. Dake Blueby in possession. Are they going to score? Are they going to prove to be the menace that they are in the Chaser Core once again? Ooh, Flyrish gets a hit out on Tux, knocking them back just a bit on the snitch meter. Denji taking a marginal lead, but the pressure is on. Dake still in possession of the Quaffle, looking for a shot on goal, being cautious to not put it in whilst their Seeker is rounding the enemy goal, but still shoots anyway. Dake Blueby puts it in. 50-40. Thin Ice currently in the lead. 2 minutes, 25 seconds left on the clock. Denji with a marginal lead on this snitch. Tux takes a hit, is stunned, knocked back further. Will that give Denji the necessary gap to close in on this snitch? And Tux is down. Tux taken out by Yukio, the beast keeper of Thin Ice. And Flyrish knocks Macoon down. That is an almost guaranteed capture for Denji. 70-40, 2 minutes left on the clock. There will be one more snitch capture if the Seekers play their best, and that is a 30-point lead. In order for Team PumkinSnatch to win this, they are going to have to put 2 Quaffle goals in there or get this last snitch capture and move into overtime. No team is going to let the other simply take this win. Whoever wins this moves on to the winning bracket. Whoever loses this moves into the losing bracket. What a match. What a match. Flyrish maintaining that Seeker pressure. 21st Q in possession of the Quaffle. PumkinSnatch looking for a means by which to squeak this win in. Neo in possession, passes it on over, sends it to 21st Q. But it looks as if 21st Q has conceded possession over to Dake Blueby. Dake Blueby looking to secure this gap. Flyrish sends a dram on over. Dake Blueby secures the goal. 80-40. What a shot. 50 seconds left in this match. Denji in the lead on the snitch. Tuck's taking hits, 21st Q in possession of the Quaffle, wanting to get past, sends it, doesn't get it in, sends it wide, and Yukio passing it on out. Dake Blueby now in possession of the Quaffle. Ooh, Flyrish eliminates Neo, reducing the Chaser core and adding pressure. Dake Blueby sending it home. Looks like Denji is in the lead on this snitch. Tuck's looking for a way just to reduce that lead and secures it. 90-60. What a match with 19 seconds left on the board. Can Team PumkinSnatch return this with 30 points in the last 15 seconds? I don't think so. Especially as Yukio sends it on out. This is looking like game. This is looking as if Team PumkinSnatch must say goodbye to the winning bracket and enter into the losing core. But still, fantastic match. Team PumkinSnatch may have lost this round, but they are not out.
Yeah.